Now, today's program. The program is called The Life and Words of the Nobel laureate Tagore have influenced us in the, it is called Kichu Kalpo Kichu Gane Rabindranath. The description is Life and Words of Nobel laureate Tagore have influenced us in the various ways. These rich compositions embalm our minds and live in our souls. Amrita and Tanusree would like to celebrate Tagore through a discussion of various anecdotes of his life embedded with his melodious tunes. About the artist, Amrita Ghosh, I've been giving a short, absolutely scribbling. I'll hard push to read it even. Amrita Ghosh. Welcome, Amrita. Amrita is trained in Rabindrasangeet in Calcutta and now being trained in with Luton. And here is an example of both of them. Is the extracurricular activities of their outside their own profession, which went up to the peak. It's a classical example. She teaches English in Luton College and also Cookery. So when you are going to get the experience of all this, Tagore Centre will be welcome always for a demonstration.
It will be my pleasure.
And Tanusree guha. She is trained in Calcutta. I'm not reading this one. She is trained in Assam. But again, extracurricular activities. She is a good singer. That you will vouch later on. And she is an electrical engineer. So electrical engineer and English teachers is our performance today. Anything you would like to add? Just a couple of lines which you don't know. Just say something of yourself.
Well, at the moment, she's working as an investment banker, so engineer, and then
which we will definitely like to have. Because it's very short of that. Now, accompanied with them is Sadat Hossain in Mandira and Tabla. No, Mandira. Tabla. Gautam Shikdar in Tabla and Umsan Vishal in Saraswati.
Umshumanda is doing the narration as well.
All right. Umshumanda is doing narration
Knows better than how talented he is.
and everything else. Now, before we start, just one more announcement about the very special program we are going to have on 29th of September, which is not in the handouts you have given before in the post. It's a new edition. We have trouble arranging this, and in the end, we're glad that we have arranged it. This is a talk by Rabindrasangeet Chaudhary. He is now the chair of Tagore Chair at India University in Edinburgh. Rabindrasangeet Chaudhary will be talking about, it's a very, very heavy subject. It's too many topics in it. I'd urge you to come along and participate in the discussion as well. He will be talking about modern and classical India and secularism. And at the backdrop of Vivekananda, Rabindranath, Aurobindo and Gandhi, especially Vivekananda's view on Vivekananda and those two characters together. It's a very, very interesting and very well researched tool. Do come along. Thanks. Welcome, Tanusree, and
Thank you.
So thank you and good afternoon. So thanks very much for giving up your Sunday afternoon and your siestas and whatever restful activities, and to be part of this journey with Tanusree and Amrita. And this will be an afternoon of melodious songs and a few anecdotes and letters and so on. And we hope that you enjoy it and it compensates a little bit for the rush of getting here. And so, as you've heard, Tanusree and Amrita have maintained from the beginning that there isn't really a central theme to this performance. It's just about them. And they'll present some of the songs that they like and that they love to sing, and some of the anecdotes that they found interesting, and the types of Rabindrasangeet that have touched their hearts and their souls. So, and I should also say that Tanusree and Amrita spent a lot of effort putting together a program of duets and sharing many different songs. And unfortunately, in the last few days, Amrita has been suffering. It doesn't look like it when you look at her now, but she's been suffering from terrible laryngitis. And so she basically cut half the program. She said, I can't sing. And yesterday, we spent a lot of effort convincing her to sing. In fact, so much effort that I think we got sore throats ourselves. But we convinced her to try to sing at least some of the songs that they intended to. So she's going to do her best. And if she falters and if her voice gives in, then she just begs your forgiveness. But we're going to do a kind of a sort of an attempt at the program, at some aspects of the program that they've planned. Okay, thank you.
The genius of Tagore is all-encompassing. His poems, songs, letters, short stories, plays, paintings, and above all, his vision and philosophy are timeless. As we went through his works, we were enthralled by them. We hope you'll find them enjoyable too. So without much ado, let's embark on this journey as we share our thoughts, dwelling on Tagore's expression through his songs, poems, and letters at various stages of his life.
So the opening song that they've chosen is based on a rag. And as we all know, Tagore used many rags, both Hindustani and Carnatic, classical, all kinds of classical music in his songs. And speaking of the rich rag tradition in Indian music, in a discourse in 1881, Tagore explained that each rag conjures a feeling, an emotion, which creates an ambience through the interplay of selected musical notes in a particular formation of ascent and descent. Tagore found himself transported on the wings of music to the world of poetic imagination. In one of his songs, he imagines the unparalleled one walking along the fringes, the green fringes of the deep blue seas, with a beauty which only music could describe, in snatches of Imon, Gedara, Behag, and Bahar. So we're going to begin our musical journey with one of these rag-based songs in Imon.
পড়ছি পড়িছে পরিমলে এসো দেবী এসো এ আলোকে একবার জোরে হেরি চোখে এসো দেবী এসো এ আলোকে একবার দৌড়ে হেরি চোখে গোপনে থেকো না থেকো না থেকো না গোপনে থেকো না মনোলোকে ছায়াময় মায়াময় সাজে হৃদয় কমল বনমাঝে মধুর মধুর ধ্বনি বাজে হৃদয় কমল বনমাঝে মধুর মধুর ধ্বনি বাজে হৃদয় কমল বনমাঝে।
A poet's school. An account of the school Brahmachari Ashram Vidyalaya at Bolpur, founded and directed by Mr. Rabindrasangeet Tagore, appears in the Manchester Guardian under the initial WWP. At 8:30, a bell sounded for boys to turn in, and a band of singers singing a religious hymn went from dormitory to dormitory that the last impressions of the day might be helpful and inspiring. Similarly, in the morning, at 4:30, the bell rings, and the band of young choristers wakens the sleeping schoolboys to the work of the day by a chant. In fact, singing occupies a large place in the school day, and the poet's songs are constantly heard during the day and at the evening. Next morning, after an early walk to a neighbouring village, where, by the way, some of the older boys conduct a night school for the village boys, I attended a service in the temple, a building open to the light and air on all sides and with a white marble floor. The boys, seated some inside and some on the veranda, worship reverently while the priests chant Sanskrit slokas or pray in Bengali. There was no altar and no image is to be worshipped, and no abuse of any man's religious faith is to be allowed in Shantiniketan. There, the one visible God is to be worshipped, and such instructions will be given as are consistent with worship, the praise, and the contemplation of the Creator and maintainer of the world, and as are productive of good morals, religious life, and universal brotherhood. The service lasted half an hour, and the devotional atmosphere of the place, with the absence of all that might distract the mind, combined to make it one of the most impressive services I have ever been present at. In fact, the atmosphere of all the surroundings of the school is such that one is compelled to believe that the devotional spirit, so characteristic of the founder of the school and of his father, has been in some way imparted to the very trees and stones. In the evening and the early morning, just at sunset and sunrise, a silence, strangely still and beautiful, seems to surround the place. And in the earliest hours of the morning, the stillness is so intense that it seems as if even the dew itself must have ceased to fall. in what I've written, it may seem that the school has too much of the monastic ideal to be of help to boys who have, when they to leave school, who have to struggle in a modern world. But there are other aspects of the school life which I have not touched upon, but which contribute largely to the formation of the boy's character. The school has one of the best football teams of any school in Bengal. And the boys are strong and healthy, and above all, happy. I've rarely seen a happier set of boys. There's nothing languid or soft about them, for the school emphasises the development of the body as well as of the mind and the soul. The discipline, except in a very few cases, is managed by the boys themselves, who have their own law courts and elect their own judges. Witnesses are allowed, but not barristers, each accused being expected to defend his own cause. And Arnold's motto, "Trust the boys," is found to be as successful with Bengali boys as with English. Such is the school which owes its existence to the ideals of Mr. Tagore. And to anyone visiting it, there must, I think, be one dominant impression, namely that of the pervading influence of one inspiring personality. Mr. Tagore's personal life casts a spell over all those who enter the gates of his school. To some, that spell has already become the conscious, guiding principle of their lives. But all, even the youngest, are being unconsciously influenced by the lofty character of the teacher whose life, even more than his poems, reveals to them the reality of spiritual things and leads them nearer to God.
Tagore